Charles McGee III, welcome back to Hangry and Horny, brother.
Thank you, Tony. Good to be here, sir.
We're at a hotel room, separate beds, of course.
I hope so. I don't sleepwalk, and I don't think you do.
So. Nah, I don't think I do either, but yeah. We'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, man. Santa Cruz, California. Just came back from Ireland. Was over there for a couple of weeks. What you been up to the last few weeks since we last saw each other at your place in Sacramento, California?
Let's see. I've been working in Santa Cruz, helping people breathe more effectively, and using the ice, for what it does. It brings you in the moment. So, been trying to help and bring the Wim Hof Method to as many people that want to try it.
So, yeah, you actually were in Poland, like, right before that. So, I saw you when you came back from Poland. You were there for 1 full month.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Yeah, so you literally were, congratulations, you became level 3 instructor, right?
Yep.
And you're also, like, the first American to sort of lead the retreat up there.
Last year, I was the first American to be allowed to be the lead instructor on a Poland winter travel with Wim. Other instructors had led it in Poland, but not the Wim Hof one. It was a really crazy opportunity.
Yeah, because you were on our previous episode. We were basically talking about that. Mm-hmm. But what was different about this trip, though? It was the first time like you led like 4 different retreats or
back to back to back. It was amazing. It was so much fun. The first 2 weeks were with Wim, and the second 2 weeks were without. So we had groups of 80 people broken up with an instructor and assistant into smaller groups. Each instructor and assistant was in charge of their group, and it was amazing. We led them through breathing exercises, ice baths, and then we climb a mountain wearing very little clothes. The instructors wear clothes because we want to be, there for the participants. But most people just elected to go in shorts, a hat, and sometimes gloves. We always have warm clothes in our backpack because we're crazy, not stupid. And if at any time the weather changes, we all just get dressed.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to see people who at the beginning of the trip don't expect, like some people are a little nervous about climbing the mountain, and then everybody made it in the weeks I went.
That's great because it's also weather dependent, right? So it's one huge reason why you have extra set of clothes as backup. What's it like for, we did cover this from like the first episode, but like, literally people be like shouting at you because you're making the decision to turn around and head back, where these people are actually paying for that experience. Almost like we were saying in the first episode that we were, when you first came on, was that, people would literally like be upset, for example, if they wanted to summit like Mount Everest, and then we're told by the guide like, no, it's not going to happen this time.
Yep. Thankfully we didn't have to do that this time. We hiked a different trail that wasn't Mount Sniezka. It just wasn't safe, so we weren't going to do something that wasn't, we're hiking in the snow in minimal clothing, but we have our limits. It was just at some points the wind was blowing at like 65 to 70 kilometers an hour on Sniezka with a wind chill factor of like negative 25 and negative 25 Celsius. And it's just not safe. It's not prudent. We have a backup trail we hiked, and we hiked that. And some people were a little upset that we weren't doing the Sniezka hike.
Okay.
And it was like, I'm sorry, but I'd like everyone to come back living. So.
Yeah. That, one experience, like you said, with a hooker. Remember, it was just like one experience with a hooker. For example, wouldn't I'm just blowing this whole thing. I blew the punchline there. But like we were saying, like the difference between like having a like fulfilling relationship, you know.
Yeah.
How did you say it on our walk? It was like really, really good because it like basically like.
Okay, now you're jogging my memory. You know, you can cheat on your significant other if you want, but what's one night of pleasure with some cheap date over the lifetime of happiness you'll have with that partner?
Right.
And going up the mountain in an unsafe way is cheapening that. If you want a nice long-term relationship, you've got to respect Mother Nature because she has no mercy. And if you go out there just because you want to do something, if you don't prepare and you're not careful, you can fail. And it's the mindset a lot of the time is people just don't prepare, and then those negative thoughts get in, and a negative thought can be just as deadly as a blizzard. You know, like, I'm not going to make it. Oh, this is too hard. I need to stop. And once someone convinces themselves that they're not going to make it and they need to stop, chances are they probably need to put their clothes on, and we'll send them back down with another instructor.
Yeah, so you actually have like backup then, you know.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
How many people besides like the lead instructor are there for like people are listening for the first time? Like the context is that you and I had met this guy named the Iceman, Wim Hof, who essentially is being studied by science, the ability to create heat in his body through exposing it to extreme cold. And he has also
to regulate his body temperature and to not have his core body temperature drop. Yeah.
Right. And he set the Guinness Book World Record doing this. So they have retreats that essentially teach people like how to experience that within like 2-3 days.
The retreat in Poland is 7 days.
Okay. Within like 2-3 days of training, you can experience what you never thought would be possible, you know?
Right. And it's incredible to watch someone who's never seen snow before, because our participants come from all over the world. It's absolutely stunning to meet someone who says, yes, I'm from Dubai. I've never seen snow. And I'm looking forward to taking an ice bath. That type of enthusiasm is just, it's incredible. Like, this is so foreign, and they're willing to give it a shot. You have people coming from all over, like we've had Norwegians, Canadian, all over, and they just go for it. And what they're capable of is just mind-blowingly amazing. It's so inspiring to watch people take control of themselves and go into some place uncomfortable and then find that calm center. And that's what the ice does for me. Anytime I'm a little bit stressed out, I can just take an ice bath and
Right. So you got again like people from like the hottest places on earth, coming to experience this.
One of my participants, the gentleman, was from Dubai. As he was climbing the mountain trail we were hiking, because we were hiking up to this amazing hotel at the top, and to the best of his knowledge, no one in 1,500 years of his family line had seen snow or hiked a mountain in the way he was doing it. He was one of the first in 1,500 years. And that was just incredible. Like that he said he couldn't tell his family because they would be afraid of what he was doing. And they'd no, that's crazy. You should stop.
Yeah. Especially like, I mean, they would know of snow, of course, right? But they just never experienced it.
Well, they have one of the biggest indoor ski places in Dubai. So they've seen manufactured snow, but it was the first time he'd seen real like snow. It was great.
So it's like argument that, you know, certain select people are sort of outliers with human physiology and what's possible, and you know, you get these sort of believe it or not stories, you know, or you have someone that can like hold electricity like thousands of volts or whatever and not get fried. And so some people would put Wim Hof in that like category of a human being that can, you know, withstand like extreme cold temperatures. Yet he has the DNA coming from, Dutch ancestry, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you have someone from, like, let's say the deserts of Africa or the Middle East, like Dubai, show up and experience like snow for the first time in Poland, and doesn't have a history or a family history, a lineage of being exposed to that kind of cold temperature, yet somehow it's in there in the DNA to experience this and even thrive with the proper training that you guys provide.
Yeah. And not only thrive, but succeed in ways they'd never even realized.
Yeah, didn't even have, like, other than a concept of fake snow and, reading about snow and hearing about snow. But, no one in their family for who knows how long has never experienced, like, actual cold temperature.
In the wild, walking through nature, and it can test you. I mean, sometimes we don't like to say, if you make it to the top, you shouldn't say this was easy. Because, to someone it might be difficult. It may not have been as difficult for you as you thought it would be, or maybe that you wanted it to be, but we don't control the weather. Some hikes, it's a beautiful walk in the park. The sun's out. I mean, it's still -1 or 2 degrees Celsius. It's still cold, but it's a beautiful sunny day. And we're just hiking. And other days, the wind's blowing 25, 30 miles per hour. It's freezing cold. It stings as the gusts hit you, and it can turn a simple stretch of 10 minutes into almost an eternity. But that's where the focus comes in. And I kind of like it when it's nice in the beginning. People just start to chat, and I'm like, you should be focusing on your breath. And then they fall into the right stride, they fall into the right rhythm, and it's not such a hard thing.
So explain, like, that sort of phenomenon going on, like, why did that drive focus for us and keep us warm in those situations?
Well, it's the focus in slowing the breath down. And if you start to breathe really fast, your heart rate's going to increase. That's just physiologically what happens. And as your heart's beating quicker, the blood's moving through your veins faster, and you tend to cool off a lot quicker, we find. But if you're walking and you're breathing nice and slow, nice and steady, you're extending that exhale a little bit more. If you can, just breathing in through the nose, because that heats the air just a little bit. In and out through the nose. If you can, we find the body kind of regulates its temperature. You can hum a little bit. It vibrates the intercostal muscles in between the ribs, which sit right against your lungs, so you can heat the air going to the blood and the oxygen, and it's a nice little effect. So you'll hear people humming on the mountain. And as long as we can keep a nice steady pace, it's doable. Sometimes we have to stop for a restroom break, but
right.
It's just that motion to keep your body moving, that helps the blood circulate, that keeps you a little warmer. There's a couple tricks we know and teach throughout the week that also help to generate body heat and keep you warm.
And the on the focus side, so like the mental aspect of being focused during, these extreme temperature changes or like condition changes, where, like you said earlier in the hike, people would just kind of not be focused because they're like, it's warmer, sunnier at that point. But as you start gaining elevation, it gets, let's say, like more like slush and sleet and it blowing sideways. And all of a sudden, if they weren't maintaining that focus from earlier on, obviously they will be, but it almost at that point it might be too late.
Well, that's where, I mean, I can't stress this enough, and it may sound kind of hokey, but a positive attitude. If you're just willing to accept what's coming and you can keep that positive outlook, I'll be fine, I'll be okay. If I need to put my clothes on, I can put my clothes on. And it's if you need to put your clothes on at any point, like I like to say, I will never be upset if you're listening to your body. So if you're putting your clothes on because it's time for you, then fantastically done. You've hiked your hike, and now it's time to get dressed. It's great. I mean, there are certain times where it wouldn't be safe for someone to put their clothes on right then. So we would get to a safe point and then dress accordingly, but safety is paramount. And in those moments where heavy focus is needed, I mean, that's where the instructors come in. We're there to help people stay in focus. We're wearing probably an extra layer, and so we can focus on the participants. And we'll, come on, guys, you can do it. Follow your breath. Come on, focus on that. One step in front of the other. You know, see yourself at the top. Don't get bogged down by this. Just keep moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would see that, you know, people with their egos like wanting to be like Wim, you know, because although he could train you in 2-3 days to like learn how to like increase body temperature in these situations, and then you said you have like a couple of tricks that you also teach people on how to increase that thermogenesis. But I imagine like, you know, people are comparing themselves to Wim, and you know, it's like him being, you know, sort of like
40 years of experience.
Yeah, pro athlete of 40 years experience versus someone that's just like a baby, you know, learning how to walk the first time, you know.
Right. Well, he's running, and they're looking at him, and they're just learning
like
to walk,
flying.
And being like, "Why can't I run?" It's like, well, you've got to take the steps brick by brick. If you take this slow, and you respect your limits, you can go so far. But if you look for your limits and try to find them, when you do, they're going to come crashing down, and you're probably going to get hurt. That's why Wim pounds it into people. Please respect Mother Nature. She is merciless, and you've always got to be prepared. We always have extra clothes, and there's people who are like, "Yeah, I went on a 4-mile hike, and I just went for it." And it's like, "Whoa, please be safe." Wim has clothes in his backpack. Even Wim Hof, it's. We all have to take precautions.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah. Any point have you had like somebody, you know, like in the skydiving world when we were shown videos before we actually went out and jumped out of the airplane, but they showed like scenarios of what can go wrong. And one of the things that went wrong was when the person that was jumping out with his 2 instructors. So this is not tandem. You're not attached to your instructors. They call it accelerated free fall. I don't know if they had that option for your very first time jumping out of an airplane, but I was able to do that like a long time ago. But one of the scenarios was they jumped out together, all 3 people, and the student literally just pushed his instructors out of the way so that he could just free fall on his own. And they like try to get in there, and like by this time the guy is like, you know, speed wobbling like out of control, and they're like trying to like get him into equilibrium, you know, and he's literally flipping out of control, and like one of the instructors just darts in and just grabs the guy, he's flipping with them, and he pulls the dude's chute to force him, you know, to just stop free fall and save his life. And you know, have you ever had the same situation where someone, it was like a massive ego, like literally was like pushing the instructors away, like, no, I'm not gonna put my clothes on, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go without you? If it wasn't with you, has there been stories in the past with the retreat group, the Wim Hof retreat group?
Well, we have one rule on the mountain, and it's you have to listen to the instructors. Like, if you, throughout the week, if we don't think you'll be listening to us, we just won't take you. Thankfully, we've never had to do that. I've heard of people trying to push past, and one of the instructors I know, I've heard him tell his group, like, look, when we're on the mountain, it's life or death. So if I have to knock you out to save your life, I'm going to. And thankfully, none of us have ever had to do that, but it could get that serious. I mean, I've taken lifeguard training, and there are certain scenarios where you have to knock someone out to save them. That's unfortunate but true, because when people are panicking, they're not thinking correctly. So
right, and they end up pulling down the rescuer as well.
So I mean, I'm not saying we haven't yelled. I know almost every instructor who's done a mountain hike has had to raise their voice a time or two. But when you're caught in that moment and you want your goal and you can see it, it's so close, but you don't Like you don't see the clouds, you don't see that blizzard coming because you're so focused on your goal. You don't feel the cold as acutely, but I can see the signs building up that it's time to put clothes on now. I don't need the bodies to be pushed as far as they want to go. But they have that little bump of adrenaline because they can see their goal and they really, really want it. But if it's unsafe, it's unsafe. And yeah, some people have had to be yelled at to put their clothes on. And some people have tried to go the wrong way, but we have instructors at the front of the group. We have instructors at the back. We don't take chances. We do counts all the time. No one ever gets left behind. No one ever goes the wrong way. We have people to watch for that. We have mountain guides that go with us in Poland. So we try and take every precaution we can. And if they're not listening to us, that's really unfortunate. And I'd hate to have to dress an adult. And I hope I never have to. But if I had to, I would dress an adult on a mountain.
There's cases of actually turning people away while they were there, right? Like, is there any point where they were just obnoxious and you guys are like, no, we're gonna refund the money, it just don't feel right having you here, kind of thing? Or
I mean, if that has to happen, it has to happen in all things. If one person would endanger the entire group.
But has it happened though? Of you're aware of?
I think maybe once.
Okay.
And it's not.
I thought I heard that story of like this one obnoxious European dude, and it was just like, okay, we have to.
I don't think we do anything. I mean, obnoxious is kind of one of those.
Well, I mean, like, just wasn't like you said, like listening to the instructors.
I'm sure it's happened once where we've had to send someone home because they would just refuse to listen. And if you're refusing to listen when there's 60 people, 80 people hiking a mountain, we cannot have one person put that many lives at risk. It's just best to be like, you know what, thank you for coming. We're going to send you home and refund your money.
Yeah.
But I think
and the same is true with the learning to be an instructor as well. It's like some people just don't make it through, like just don't, even if they pass like all the information, they just aren't the right fit, as an instructor.
I think that's the case with all things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like that it's, you have to really fit the mold and you have to be good at communicating the information. You have to be able to keep people safe. And sometimes people are just in it for the wrong reason. And that usually comes out in the end. Most of the time it's their choice. They just go, you know what, this isn't the right fit for me. It's not for it. But there's a lot of people who want to become instructors that do, and they become amazing instructors. And it's not any one personality type will do better than anyone else, which is what I love about it. A myriad of backgrounds would make an amazing Wim Hof Method instructor. And sometimes it's just, as you said, not the right fit for the person. And even though they know all the knowledge, it's just not what they want to do. And they go their way and they still have all the knowledge they learned.
Yeah, which is, again, back to your point that, this kind of applies with like everything, any kind of teaching position, instructor, or like just auditioning or interviewing for a job per se. So it's interesting when an instructor, dude, I'm so high right now, man.
It happens.
Oh man, we were like going on that one. Just like the how this like applies with like anything, and so back to like, whether being high, having a few drinks, being in extreme cold temperatures or extreme heat, or as we were saying with kettlebell partner passing, where you're passing, cannonballs with handles back and forth with another person. A lot is like revealed about someone during these like moments where you're like in an altered state. And the cold, you see it like when people get into the ice bath, like you see it before sort of like the pre-anxiety aspects of it, and then you see them in it and then they're hyperventilating, and with your guidance and cueing, they reach this moment where they hit this homeostasis of breathing, and then not only do you witness that like on a solo level, but if you get like a bunch of people in a giant ice bath, or like let's say the cold sea, and you actually see almost like the real person, like the mask being removed in that moment.
That scares some people sometimes. They don't realize that a simple ice bath will make them feel so much. Because a lot of times people want to endure the ice. They want to be tough. They want to sit in the cold. And it's like, yeah, that's nice. Have you tried surrendering? Because the real magic happens when you surrender. And anyone can endure an ice bath. Anyone can tough an ice bath out. But the magic in the ice bath is to just relax, slow your breath down, and you can't control that environment. You just have to accept what the ice bath is giving you, and you can either freak out, which I, don't recommend. It's uncomfortable. I've seen people kind of half levitate out of an ice bath, where they'll try and sit in it, but their torso suddenly gets really, really long as they're sitting down, and their arms kind of stretch out.
So a magic trick.
Yeah, a little magic trick.
Yeah,
I've never
optical.
I've seen someone like hover over an ice bath. That was really neat.
I've seen somebody like stand over it like a cat refusing to get bathed.
Yeah. Yep.
They're like, maybe they won't notice that I'm not in the ice at all. Just I'm in the bath. Yeah.
I see people make nervous jokes and like, oh, guys especially, if there's a couple guys together or their friends that come.
Yeah, they try to divert the attention from them.
Everyone's got to make the shrinking joke. Like if they're nervous about the ice. Oh, that's gonna be a belittling experience. Like, oh, Frozen gonna be a turtle, and it's like
turtle head.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, just
turtle in the shell.
Yeah. So they want to focus on that. They want to make jokes and laugh about it. It's fun, but once you get in, there's no joke in the world that's gonna help you. You have to focus. You have to breathe, and that's what's amazing about it. If you can find peace in the ice, you can find it anywhere. You can use that as a mirror for stress, and really work with stress in a healthy way. Because the ice, it's not. I mean, I find it relaxing now, but that's after quite a few years of practice. At about 18 months, I found ice baths serenely relaxing. After my wife taught me how to take them right. I was doing it so wrong for so long. Tensing up, just, I'm cold. This is awesome. And I would just endure an ice bath. And my wife said, can I try that? And of course I was like, oh yeah, go ahead. And she sat in it and just, that looks way better than what I do.
Yeah. It's cool because literally it is.
It's cool because
that was like a horrible joke.
That's a bad pun. Yeah,
that was pretty bad. But what's interesting about the ice and some of the things that we've done at Magic Flow Bus, we're taking people through like altered states like naturally, including like flow state, and with like my own personal experience with like psychedelics and heavy sort of dosages, where it's like he talked about like surrendering and like accepting like where you are at, and that like the beauty of using the ice bath is like you had the same experiences to the core of like acceptance and surrendering to the moment and seeing it like as is versus like good or bad or whatever mental constructs you make during that fight or flight emergency perceived situation, right? And you could do that with sort of psychedelics and other ways, including like extreme sports, right? But the beauty of like using the ice or heat or even breathing practically is that it is accessible, and it doesn't require like the the legalities of a particular substance or not, and but yeah, ultimately you get to the same place if you learn to accept it and surrender and let go.
Mm-hmm. And it's a hard journey for a lot of people. Our society's taught to really be in control at all times, and that's not something we can, you can't control an ice bath. You can surrender to it, and when you're partner passing with a kettlebell, you have to surrender to the fact that your muscles might fatigue, that you are doing something that is what others would perceive as dangerous, but if you're in the right moment and you're in the right mindset, it's liberating.
And you have the proper methodology and technique and instruction behind it. Then, yeah, similar with the ice, if you have the guidance of an experienced person guiding you through, then you would have a greater chance of
successfully completing the challenge.
Right.
And I know people who take ice baths to go to bed. I know people who take ice baths to wake up. I know a lot of athletes who do ice baths to heal or recover or just lessen the pain in their body. Everyone's got the reason for it. And, I met someone who's, I've taken ice baths for years. I'm a pro at it. And I said, well, have you tried breathing like this when you're in an ice bath? In for 3, out for 6. It's one of the most relaxing breaths you can do. If you're stressed in your daily life, in for 3, out for 6. With your nose if you can, but in the nose, out the mouth. It'll slow your heart rate down. It'll calm you down. It'll help you be less stressed in the moment. And if they can do that, that's all they're looking for, is just that one little bit of moment of peace.
And you're saying that somebody asked you about that? Like that was,
I kind of got lost right there.
Yeah.
It happens.
I mean, I think it was, you're mentioning like a pro basketball player at one point at Whole Foods that overheard
I was talking to the Whole Foods deli guy about the Wim Hof Method, because I'll talk to anybody about the Wim Hof Method if they seem even a little bit interested. And the guy said, I play for the Kings. It's cool. And he's like, well, the breath thing, will I be able to perform better? I don't know. I can probably, let's see. Do you want to breathe better? I don't know you at all. I can't give you those answers. It's like, well, I'm a pro. And I'm like, all right, how long can you hold your breath for? With the oxygen advantage, it's a really good way to see someone's bolt score. It's non-invasive. I don't have to, get in there.
So essentially, the level of oxygen in the body test.
And for a pro athlete, he should be able to hold his breath for at least a minute. And he lasted about 20 seconds. And when I said, you could probably be breathing a little bit better, he got angry because I was then critiquing his peak performance. And in my mind, or in his mind, I guess I was not thinking he was as amazing as he should be. And then it went from, I want to listen to piss off.
He's like, why should I listen to you, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what have you done, kind of thing.
He was pro, and he left.
Yeah.
And that, whether he played for the Kings or not, I don't know. Whether it was just a story for me to listen to him, I'm not sure.
It makes, to me, sounds just about right. In that pro world, whether it's Hollywood or professional sports, it seems to match certain attitudes,
It does, but a lot of people have those attitudes.
Yeah, and it would just that it's like a higher level of ego, like elitism, which I was joking that by saying that it makes me sound like an elitist. But you were saying earlier too, just like how it's up to people to figure out like how to use something like the Wim Hof Method like individually, because again, people are like trying to be like Wim Hof or trying to be like Mike, so to speak.
Yeah, they're following other people's goals instead of setting them for themselves. Like Wim, his motto is health, strength, and happiness for everybody. But his walk up the mountain of health, strength, and happiness is different from mine. I'm a type 1 diabetic. It's different from yours. So though I can be inspired by Wim's success, I'm not going to set his goals as mine. I need to set my own goals. And that's what I love about this method is we can teach you to breathe, but we can't breathe for you. I can show you how to take an ice bath, right? But I can't sit in the ice for you. And I can't tell you how to live your life or what goals to set. And it's just incredible to watch people realize that is their power. It's not a superpower. It's theirs. It's their, I can choose. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, essentially like own their own life. Like,
right. Don't be like Mike, be like you.
Yeah. There's only one you, right?
Yeah.
So no one else can be you. So, super cliche, man.
Just because it's cliche doesn't mean it's wrong. Like, I mean, I tell my daughter and I tell my son, you're the only people who are you. So be the best you can be. And it may sound cheesy, but I mean, those cheesy lines, I quote my grandfather all the time. He had all these cheesy quotes that I heard as a kid. And now here I am repeating them to my children.
Yeah.
And it just because they're cheesy doesn't make them any less wrong.
Well, I think the cheesiness was the real stuff, right? Like, yeah, being silly, goofy, cheesy, corny, whatever you want to.
Now they call them dad jokes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Dad jokes.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, getting people to actually like listen to their own heart, cliche. And,
Yeah, like listen to themselves. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why would I?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I hear people say, I want to go to the next level. And then I ask them, what is the next level? I'm like, well, I don't know. You can tell me. I'm like,
right.
I don't.
I need to level up, especially if they're already like multimillionaires running like large companies and have everything materialistically. They're like, I need to get to the next level.
What is I mean, they don't even know. They can't tell me what they think the next level is. And why? How about being content with what you have? I mean, of course, strive, dream.
Yeah, what you were saying earlier, evolve, right? Like you got The Rock or someone like Kevin Hart, the comedian, and they have everything, but they love being an artist. They love recreating and reinventing themselves after, every couple of years and seeing what else they could learn and grow or discover or create, right? And it's not about like the money for them
or leveling up. It's not about leveling up or attaining that next level. It's just seeing where learning takes them, where their craft can take them, and enjoying life. I don't know them personally, so I can't say one way or the other, but it doesn't seem like they're trying to do what they're doing to level up or reach that next level of enlightenment.
Yeah, impress people.
Yeah, they're doing it because they're driven it and it inspires them.
Right. Yeah. It's, they're not motivated by anything external per se. It's the internal person that they become, And so intrinsic versus extrinsic.
I think if your internal motivation is to grow, and you're doing it responsibly, and you're not growing just to grow. You're trying to see how far you can push your limits of comfort and move to the next part of your journey. That's amazing. That's evolution. But if you're just trying to, reach some existential, I just have to be to the next level, it sounds like you're kind of lost a little bit. So stop.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of them are pretty damn like disconnected and unhappy, or even just depressed. Like, they have everything, but they aren't happy. They're always seeking something else, thinking that something's gonna bring a bigger high than the last one, and
they're chasing the endorphin rush.
Yeah,
of that next success,
the next hit.
Yeah, because they're pursuing happiness.
Right.
They're not embodying happiness, and that's a big difference. Like, I love to see people who embody happiness. And what are you doing? Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm on my way to my next thing. I'm gonna see if I like this, and they're gonna go try hot yoga for the first time, not for any other reason than just to see if it's something they want to do.
Yeah.
And I've met the person who's like, hot yoga's the thing. I've heard about it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be the best at it. I was like, okay. I wish you luck.
Yeah, it's cool because people can just... I respect people that are trying it, even if they have like the weirdest reasons for doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I used to judge that kind of stuff, but the more I start to see how everybody in this world has this one life to experience different things, and you know, who are we to say that one way is right or that one way is wrong? There's some, like, you know, certain obvious moral, ethical things, but just in general, if someone wants to, you know, have a orgy or something, it's like,
you went there.
You know, it's like, yeah, I want to try that, or you know, just go down some like underground world of, you know, to see what that's like, or try, like you said, something more benign like hot yoga.
Yeah, I went hot yoga. You went hot orgy. I like the leap, but
that'd be an interesting thing. Try to like have a hot horse shit obstacle course.
You get down with your bad self, man. I will see how that turns out. I'll try round 2.
I wonder if that even exists in the world. There's usually
I
like
bet
everything
there's a
that
Spartan
you
race
think of.
somewhere. Where
Yeah,
you gotta
right.
Crawl
Some
through
horse shit Spartan race. Some like farmer.
I mean, those races
and his
are
buddies
incredible. Those guys go
like,
through some crazy stuff. I'm sure some. I mean, they've got shipping containers filled with ice you got to walk through. I'm sure someone's got a shipping container filled with horse shit.
Yeah, it's like fear factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's like the grossest, dirtiest, creepiest like concoction of obstacle courses can you have like a fear factor obstacle course? That would be trippy.
Not in my backyard, no. But
no one's done that, right? Because they've done like one-off, like sort of truth or dare kind of like eat like some, you know, pig penis, but it's like,
no, I'll pass.
But they haven't had like a obstacle course where you eat like this kind of animal part, you know, and like go through like a crate of like horse shit, and it sounds like hazing, man.
Yeah, that sounds like hazing. I hope they don't come up with that, but I'm sure people would watch it.
I feel bad for kids going to college. Yeah. Wow, man.
I don't know. That's gnarly.
This is fun, man. I feel pretty baked.
That happens.
Oh, man. So, yeah, back to Wim Hof Method.
We get there eventually.
Yeah, right? So, you know, you were also talking earlier during our, like, dinner, just transitioning from these kind of highs, you know, where you're, you know, for example, immersed in this. Living, like literally living and embodying these most alive states that humans are capable of experiencing, and for like a month straight, and then
it was incredible.
It's the same thing that's going on. Yeah, it's going on with like soldiers coming back from war. They actually like miss that excitement, war, and the camaraderie with their fellow, you know, teammates of, you know, being and like, you know, it's almost like going back home is like just black and white in that sense.
I wouldn't necessarily compare it to that, whereas I'm having an amazingly fun, awesome time, and I'm not in any real danger. I'm not getting shot at, and I don't have to shoot at anyone. But I am living a high. I get to be in that flow state. I get to have that extra taste of life. And what a lot of these events don't tell you, and thankfully we do, is when you go home, you might get a little bit of a low. It's common. I came back from a month of doing this, and I was a bit depressed for a little bit, for about 2-3 weeks.
This is again normal. It's not like
totally normal.
Yes, especially if someone had experienced like again such a live state at a level 11, you know.
Yeah, they had a life altering moment. They had a cathartic breakthrough. Anything like that.
Ecstasis in that sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then going back home, it's like again, we'll pull a quote from my wife here. It's like you're a balloon of positivity going through a thorny forest of grumpiness, and someone's gonna want to pop your balloon. And
yeah, that's an epic metaphor from your wife.
Kendra's on point.
Yeah, yeah, she's rad. She's so cool.
But yeah, when you come back, you're a balloon of positivity, and you're like, "This is amazing," and someone goes, "Nope," and you've got to be prepared for that. Not everyone will do it, but someone will.
Right, because it's a skewed sliver of reality when everybody. So this is sort of the, the double-edged sword of tribes and on the other end a cult, where it's like you're with a group of people for like a weekend seminar or a week-long retreat, and it is like Fantasy Island or the Love Boat, where in that moment of time everything's amazing, everything's novel, yet you go back home to like reality
and you can't quite get as deep as you want to. You can't
talk to the same people about the same things. You can't
keep your practice up. You want to talk to someone about taking an ice bath, and they're like, "Man, you're crazy." And it's hard.
Because I heard it called it like romance, like withdrawal or something, where like you have like a weekend romance on some cruise ship or in Vegas or something, and then you come back and it's just like flat, flat land.
Well, what's great about learning the Wim Hof method is that's a normal thing, but you can still keep practicing your breath work. You can still do, if you can't do an ice bath, you can take a cold shower. I mean, you can do it. Everyone breathes, and you can get cold most anywhere in the world. There are certain places where it's a lot harder to take a cold shower. I mean, when the water's warm, not much you can do.
Right.
But most places you can get a little cold. You can take a cold shower. You can take an ice bath now and again.
Yeah, buy ice and throw it in your bath.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's great about it is with that weekend romance, we give you the tools to practice indefinitely. There is no next super secret level. I mean, we offer advanced courses for people who want to learn like the science and maybe another breathing technique or two. But you learn everything you need to practice the Wim Hof Method forever in the fundamentals course. And you take that knowledge with you. No one can take it from you. You can breathe anywhere. You can calm yourself down. You can give yourself a little more energy. And you have that awareness of your body. So although you may feel that lull, you still have the power to bring yourself up out of it.
Right. I have multiple things on my mind in regards to all that. It's like, so you were saying earlier about, people given the tools and also being like foretold this is a possibility of like a week-long, month-long experience is to have like a withdrawal effect or, a crash afterwards. And so there's like that aftercare support, and that's available. These are the tools that can help you when you if that does happen, because it doesn't necessarily happen to everybody. And then the aspect of what I love about things like the Wim Hof Method or like kettlebell partner passing is, like you said earlier, like you can't breathe for people. Like they actually have to breathe. They actually have to have a practice. And by doing these types of practices, like you actually like gain experience where so many people are living life like reading, which I've done before, just kind of like reading about like accomplishing your dreams or reading about like successful people and feeling good, or listening to like, a motivational meme or reading it, but not actually like suffering through the cold or working out and feeling uncomfortable and burning and, having fatigue. And there's something about like that double-edged sword too of people suffering. But on the other end of that, if you learn to be present, to surrender, to let go, to like fully accept that feeling without naming it, labeling it, and then come out the other side, you know, like it just kick-started you into this super state of being, which you guys and many successful people have noticed, and what I've discovered myself is like making micro steps to like this goal that seems just out of reach and freaks the hell out of people, and people make these stories why they can't do that, but it's not necessarily not attainable. It's that they didn't sort of take that like baby first step and then build that to 2 steps, 3 steps, and you know, fallen a couple of times and then gotten up and just kept going, never stopping, and then all of a sudden, you know, what looked like something unattainable becomes totally attainable if you like broke it down to smaller bites,
small
and chunks.
steps towards a big goal.
Right.
And I mean, a simple exercise is you write what you want down, write it down, and then I like to draw a bunch of branches down. It's like an upside down tree, and I draw a bunch of branches down from underneath it. And I'm like, okay, so if I want this goal, I need to accomplish these things. And if I need to accomplish these things, there's steps to accomplish those things. So it may seem a pie in the sky dream. It may be, oh man, that looks insane. But if I do all of these little steps, it'll lead to these bigger steps, which will eventually lead to my bigger goal. And if you break it down and compartmentalize it, it's not so bad. It's, as you said, 1 step at a time. And everyone thinks the first step is the hardest. And I don't agree with that. I think the next step is always the hardest. Because starting something, that's easy. Finishing it, taking that next step and that next step, that's hard.
Right. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny in that way, because I've experienced both, you know, where the first step was hard, and then with other things it was like, oh, that wasn't so bad, and then you had the high of accomplishing that, and then you just don't take any more steps after that, because you're like, man, that felt so awesome. I'm just gonna hang out in awesomeness and not get uncomfortable again, you know. And that's the truth about, like, I guess, fitness, you know, and starting something, and that's the thing, like, people usually like blow themselves out on their first try, and it's like you're so gung-ho and on fire, motivated and inspired, and you just try to like,
and then you hurt yourself sometimes.
Yeah, you hurt yourself, like, right? Or you're like so damn sore, and
you don't want to do it anymore.
With this like 90-day KPP process that I'm going through, it's like, you know, these things, but when you're young, you're just like, I'm gonna fucking, you know, eat the whole goddamn elephant on like one try, right? And it's like, no, it's you know, sort of wisdom comes with age or something. Like, I'm amazed that there's some like kids that just seem to know it. It took me to be like 41 years old right now, and I knew of it. I've heard people talk about it, you know, and now it's like I'm actually doing it, and I'm like, fuck, they were right, you know, like. Yeah,
I wish I wasn't one of the people that had to touch the fire to realize it's hot. I could just trust someone.
Yeah.
I gotta know.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's not like we didn't know that before, but this on this level of understanding, and you know, it's. I say we both even lived like pretty incredible lives for them, you know, like I would say, so I'm sure you would.
I love the life I've led.
And to know this at our age versus, again, like on our deathbed, you know, like where people are just droning about, sleepwalking, you know, through the matrix, and just being sheep and not trying anything new, not taking that like hot yoga class, or
not being uncomfortable, not taking. Well, anytime you want to start something new and your brain doesn't know how it will end, it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. So you don't do it, and it can keep you in the safe routine. Your brain will actively seek comfort on every level. However, if you can lean into that uncomfortable thing, like I wouldn't say I actively look for the next uncomfortable thing, But if I'm about to try something new and I can feel that hesitation, that moment of discomfort, I'm now more motivated to lean into it and to see what'll happen. Because the worst thing that happens is I fail, and then maybe I try again and I don't fail as bad next time. I'm okay with failing. I don't mind. And if you're going to fail, I mean, fail spectacularly. Go out big. More fun.
Yeah, it certainly makes for funny ass stories, right?
Oh, it
Like,
does.
I mean, a lot of stuff is like, how do you can't script this, right? Like, and it's like where a lot of the ideas from comedies come is like a bunch of writers probably fucked up spectacularly in their lives and got actually ideas for some of these movies or sitcoms or stand-up bits or whatever, and I find the same. Like, it's, I don't know what it is about hitting 40 or something. It's hormonal changes or the brain change, or I don't know what the fuck happened, but it's like you just give less of a shit than you did like when you're, at least for me, when I was in high school or middle school. It's just like, I'm sure a lot of hormones and stuff like that have to do with it, but you know, you still see people act that way and they're like in their 60s, you know. It doesn't matter so much the age, but I think there's like this, I guess, maturity aspect of development that goes on with each individual person. So that's why there's no necessarily method that fits, you know, everybody, right? It's like each person, and you have each situation and each like phase of their life of development. There's so many variables that one really has to truly listen to themselves and maybe have like guides to help them figure out like what's going on within their own system and like how to accomplish, let's say, a dream that they have or something on their bucket list that like freaks them out. Yet, you know, we know that this is like an incredible experience. With experience, you start to see like, oh man, this is the body getting excited, like the fight or flight, and this like new
it's a
novel
great
thing.
sign.
Like,
If you, when you learn to feel that, you're like, ooh, all right, what's going on? Okay, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but let's go for it.
yeah, it's like me trying to be funny. I literally laughed at my own jokes and no one laughs at it, but I'm like, the fact that no one laughs at it, then like I'm like saying that no one laughs at it, then everybody laughs at that part. And there's something so funny in a sense of like even like talking about it, and it helps people like relate better because they're like probably thinking that they're experiencing, they think they're the only one experiencing this response to fear that they're afraid of. Is like, no, everybody,
and they're not going to voice it, they're not going to want to be alone. It's like, well, everyone's kind of feeling this way. I mean, one of my favorite quotes is from the new Mary Poppins movie, and it's, you know, children, you're about to embark on an adventure, don't spoil it with so many questions. And a lot of times people will stop and they'll ask so many questions. It's paralyzation through analyzation. And it's like, you know what? You could spend 30 minutes trying to quantify and figure out what's going to happen, or you can spend 30 seconds, give it a shot, and try it again. I mean, I'd rather try it 20 times in 30 minutes, whatever this imaginary thing we're making up is, and fail 20 times and sit there and ponder what would happen.
Yeah, it's funny because I had this experience teaching KPP in Ireland, and my girlfriend and another gal, they were like asking like too many questions, and I was just like, shh, just pick up the weight, just, you know, just literally experienced by like by doing, you know, and then we could talk about it afterwards. But, you know, it's funny to see when you start to, as an instructor and guide, you start to see people's eyes and body language. You know, they're like going into the analytical, like paralysis analysis mind, because they're using it as like a tool to avoid facing reality in that moment. And, you know, it's cool to be able to like help them realize that. And then I just find that if you could guide them through that transition, through like making it funny, making them realize that they're doing it, and then they're at ease, and then all of a sudden, half an hour later, they're looking back going like, wait a minute, like,
Why
how did I
hesitate?
end up here when I couldn't even move past the first step, right?
And now they're sailing along, having a great time.
Right.
And I mean, the first step is hard, to take that unknown leap, and then to go again and again and again. And I mean, just go for it.
Yeah. And man, we had so many great conversations. So now these people are at this like heightened state of awareness. They are feeling like their super self. And then you get these culty cunts that come around and use hypnosis, suggestibility, a pitch.
They convince people that they're not their optimal self, and
they have a higher level, secret level.
The next thing, just you've learned this, come for the next thing. The next thing is really good. It only costs $12,000, and I mean, they have a place. They're making their money. So if that's what's important to them, they're doing it.
They have the information, you don't want to throw the baby out the bathwater, but it's very exploitive, right? Because people on a whole are very naive, and I was naive, and I had to go through that process to like realize what the hell is going on. Just when I thought I figured it out, I got duped again.
I'd like to say I don't get duped, but I get duped. I hope people are going straight with me. That that's a good story, and you know what? Even if I do get conned, man, that was a good story.
Right.
I mean, I hoped for the best in someone. It wasn't so, and hopefully I don't get too upset that they may have swindled me.
Right. Yeah. Go fully deeper in the whole financially. Like just it's I think the ultimate, I don't think I actually experienced it, but like an actual leader of an organization that like tells people all the sort of red flags to look for in like a disintegrous spiritual leader or leader as a whole, and named like 20, like the top 20 list of things to look for, and then turned around and actually did it to his own followers, right? And I was just like, dude, like, part of me is like, dude, that was like the ultimate chess move, like mad respect. But the other part of me is like, you fucking slime ball, right? Like, because I actually fell for it, right? But at the same time, I'm so grateful for the experience, because now I'm like, I'm very open, but also like keep that critical eye at the same time. Like to say that you're a samurai walking around with, you doesn't even have to be like a physical sword, but you have the presence of one that is walking around peaceful, is very kind and respectful, but you have the sword for the moment's notice that something is bullshit, and you just full on like hack it in half, right? And I think it's a very powerful presence for someone to have, because they're like, they don't look like they're Pollyanna-ish. They may act it, but at the same time, they're willing to like stand up for truth and call it out, or even help other people not go through the same pitfalls that they fell through.
I wish I could catch all the bullshit artists.
Yeah, I'm better, but I think
still, I mean, if they've got a good pitch, I want to believe them. I want to believe. And that's when I first met Wim, I said, you know what, thank you for your method. It's helped me a lot. And Wim said, thanks, but you're the one who did the breathing, and you're the one who sat in the ice. So, your success is your success. Congratulations. Good job. And that was such a different attitude than I'd seen before. And to this day, I see people walk up and thank Wim for all he's done. And he's like, this is the first moment I've met you. You've everything up until this point you've done on your own. You may have watched a video that I helped coach you, and then you did it, but you did it. So thank you for using my method to help yourself.
Yeah.
And I really have to. I love that so much. That I mean,
he's honoring their
their
own
work.
initiative, and work, and that was like a big, refreshing thing to know someone that's so. He's just so loved by millions of people around the world now.
Sure,
and revered, and yet he keeps the humility because he's like I did what I did, and I'm happy that it inspired you. Yet, like you said, he doesn't take the credit. He's like, the credit belongs to you because you actually did it. You could have just for example, get high off of watching my videos and maybe done a couple breath things, but just never did anything with it or applied it to your life. And, you changed because you decided and actually went for it.
That's the setting your own goals.
And now, for the next level,
only $12,000 more.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it was crazy, man, when we went to that one.
That place
in San Francisco where it was supposed to be about consciousness, and it was just one NLP sales pitch where the guy is like telling his amazing story, and then like eventually says, yeah, we had this elite level circle,
but you have to take this weekend course first to be good enough to take the bigger, longer course.
Right.
So you have to pay to see if you can pay next.
Yeah, and he actually said what the price of the elite course was, right? Which was how much?
I think it was like $18,000.
Yeah, but before you could even qualify to take that, you have to take this weekend course, which was $12,000, right?
No, I think that one was like a conservative $1,500 or something like that.
Okay. So
like, all in all, near 20,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong with the numbers. They were out of my range.
Right. Yeah, it's just an interesting sales technique,
Well, you're not good enough. If you'd like to learn how to be good enough, just talk to me and I'll tell you how to be good enough.
You'll be good enough for the good enoughs.
Yeah, you'll be good enough for the good
like
enoughs.
That awesome.
Just pay for it.
You know?
Enlightenment through entitled paying. It's awesome. And there's lots of organizations that do the same thing. Just send us money and you'll be better.
Yeah, it's pretty slick with how it's being done, through like regular advertising and the marketing aspects of they're getting really creative and I don't know, sophisticated is the word, in terms of
it's
duping people.
Well, in college, we took classes in advertising as part of theater, and they were super sophisticated back then. And this almost 20 years ago, when I'm going through these classes, and I'm learning about how advertisers use just images in plain sight that you still don't see.
Yeah,
and like subliminal advertising that it's there, but it's not out in the forefront. One of my favorites is the Wendy's logo. If you look at the Wendy's logo, right here on her collar is the word mom.
Really?
So every time you look at it, you don't see the word mom.
Wow.
But it registers and it brings you that comfort of the word mom.
Yeah.
So that's right there in the Wendy's logo.
Right.
And
right.
there's things everywhere.
Yeah. You got the FedEx logo with the arrow in between Fed and X. And then you have the like Amazon logo with the sort of looks like a happy face arrow.
Yep.
And it's like A to Z.
Yep. So there's all sorts of stuff.
Some are like super creative. Like I like that, But if there's something that's like a way to, again, consume more, like I love that movie, They Live, right? You have these special glasses and then you see like regular advertising billboards, and it says like consume or procreate or buy or whatever it is. It's fascinating that they had this so down for science, or from science, like the neurophysiology behind all of it,
Well, I mean, some of the most interesting things would be like a hot tub ad. A hot tub ad where there's a beautiful woman in a bikini. She's got a drink in her hand, of course. And the male is in amazing shape, but his face is in shadow. Well, that ad's meant for men because I can't see that guy's face. I'm going to put mine there. And if I buy that hot tub, I will have that amazing body and that amazing girl, and my life will be amazing. Now, if the woman's face is in shadow, that ad is probably designed for a woman so she can imagine her face there. And if they're both in shadow, that's for the couple. So their tricks are really, they've just been getting better.
Wow. And to think that people, again, that sat around and like
think of these ways.
Stuff. Yeah. And then tested it out.
And now they're thinking of, okay, now a lot of people have TiVo and they're going to be fast forwarding. How do we make a commercial that in 1 or 2 frames going through TiVo will catch an eye? Pop-ups now. Yeah. That how do we get people to click on this pop-up instead of just close it?
Clickbaits, like headlines.
Yeah. And the ones where you have to scroll through each individual frame of the story and they're hoping one of those ads picks you up. Yeah, they're getting better and better and better and better at it. And we are paying the price. We're consuming more and more.
Yeah, it's so much crazy noise out there. Yet again, it's hypnotizing. I could see why people would just get lost in it.
It makes you feel better to follow the routine.
Like binging on Netflix or all these bingey shows. Like Game of Thrones. Like awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They know the lighting, the color, the sound, the character, the stories, the setting. As you know, with theater arts, right? I'm sure you guys learned like all these different effects to really bring attention and sway, like being used in like politics, right? For propaganda to sway the masses and voting a certain way, it's or believing in a certain way. It's crazy. And I think, full circle back to things like the ice, or extreme heat or extreme like physical exertion or
ultra marathons.
Exactly. Or like, psychedelics per se. These things reveal things, like it's hard, like you said, to like throw a joke in the middle of an ice bath, right? Like, until you reach that like sort of homeostasis sweet spot where you get that inner fire and everything sort of sinks in, and now you're like synced up with your environment and you're one with the ice. You feel connected with everybody standing out there, like, observing and supporting. And it's fascinating to go out in the world with that sort of clear glasses,
Well, yes. Like, if you can find that relaxed spot in the ice and you get to the point where you're just experiencing the moment, you've calmed yourself down and you can see clearly what's going on, you can take that out in the world with you. You don't have to let the guy in traffic get you angry. You can stay calm. You don't have to make that choice to be mad. And you can choose how you feel most of the time. Even if someone's trying to get you angry, you don't have to rise to the bait. And in the ice, you don't have to rise to that fear. If it happens for you, it happens. You can go, okay, you know what? Thank you, body. I got this. But you have to acknowledge the fact that that's there.
And do you think, I mean, I have my idea of it, but, it's these things providing such a time dilation space that now you're not acting impulsively. You literally realize in the moment of that space that you have choices that before it used to be on autopilot, right? And I remember you said in our last conversation about realizing all of a sudden you had the option to go from being in an automatic transmission to a manual transmission. Yeah. So you can shift to a certain gear based on the moment, and in these moments you have the space to have other choices other than one that was already pre-programmed or conditioned in you, and you'd even realize that you were acting in this way based on these stimuli in the environment, like stress.
And the more you make a decision, the more that decision's going to get made in your brain. It's like pouring water through sand. Eventually, you're going to get to the Grand Canyon. It's going to wear such a deep hole that if you want to change your reaction, that's hard. But you just have to be aware that I can change the way that's going. I may have made this decision 100 times this way, but I'm going to go a different way today. And that's always your choice. And so many people give up so many choices because they're just not aware they have them. And I mean, I've heard adults say, you know, I'm an adult. Of course I hate my job. You don't have to. But they'd rather have the security and stability of that routine than try something else that might not work out.
That's the crazy thing about pleasure and like suffering, whereas like you can have so much pleasure that you become immune to, I guess, make suffering feel worse. Yet you can have pleasure where, I'm just blanking out right here again, brother. I was like thinking, it was so profound the moment I was thinking of it. It was just, you know, it literally is like the Grand Canyon in the sense that you're so used to it that, for example, like people that take abuse, women that are in like bad relationships. Yeah, because it's in some ways it's more pleasurable to experience the abuse than to experience the suffering of the unknown leaving that relationship.
That's your brain again.
Yeah.
Because these are the choices that it knows. It knows what's going to happen at the end of this. It knows the outcome. So that knowing is more comfortable than maybe going out on your own and facing the discomfort of the unknown. It's not so much that they enjoy the abuse, it's the routine and the it's
repetition. Right?
It's nefarious.
Yeah.
And their brain, even though they're in a terrible situation, will still send out the chemicals when they try to leave that I don't know what's going to happen. And it still sends out that fear response. So it's your own mind working against you to try and keep you in a routine that it knows it's comfortable with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's interesting because it can be like there's not this good or bad aspect of like a routine. For example, like there's routines where you would want because it's leading to more like success, but sometimes like maybe someone who experiences so much success is actually missing failing in some weird way, you know, and they'll just find ways to do that in their life, you know,
either through self-sabotage or maybe self-harm or and there's multiple things they can do to try and push that feeling.
Yeah, and people that are saying that they're addicted to like suffering leads to, for example, like the Protestant work ethic or something. Like there's this idea that the more you suffer, the more rewards you're gonna get. But you know, that's not like always true. Like I think the biggest thing that I love about us is that we never look at one thing as again being the answer to everything. Like that's again someone, if you hear someone say that or they say something that sounds like too good to be true in that way, it's like and there's this sort of red light like going off in your emergency, like I don't know, like in your system something just doesn't feel right even though it sounds amazing. It comes down to like we don't really have any technique or method. It's literally whatever comes up, if you just have the tools to use either pleasure or suffering, depend on like the situation, where if you're not like, oh, only go for discipline all the time, right? It's like, no, there's a time where you don't want to be disciplined.
You want to play.
Right? Yeah.
Have
right?
fun.
Like just be freestyling.
Be a kid.
Yeah. Right? Just flowing. And other times like you actually do want to like grind and, grit.
And work towards
work
that
hard,
goal. Yeah.
Sweat, bleed.
But make sure it's your goal.
Yeah.
Not someone else's goal you're working towards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. The sensation of the difference between like happiness and like satisfaction, right? Because it's like you could have like all the pleasures of the world and feel happy and buffered, but there's a part of you that doesn't feel satisfied because like either you didn't like earn it, or which is like another possible paradigm, but there's some satisfaction of like actually like creating something out of your own like will and grit and grind and even discipline, and actually seeing something from its inception as an idea to materializing and into actual reality, and
I love that.
yeah, there's and then that whole process, right? Like if something is just given to you, you don't like necessarily value it as much as like when you literally worked and earned it. It just feels more precious. The person that you become, the evolution,
You're more grateful.
Journey. Yeah.
A lot of the times, I mean, I've met some people who've been given things that are pretty darn grateful for it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time I've seen kids get given a car, crash it, and their parents buy them a new one, and they crash that one. So 4 cars later, they still haven't learned anything. Neither the parents nor the kids. But, hey, I mean, if you can afford to do that, good job on you. You must have good insurance.
See, so, yeah, we got a few more minutes. Do you have to go to the bathroom, dude?
I do.
Go for it, man. Yeah. I actually have to go, too. But,
we could.
Oh, no, it's totally cool, man. I've done this before with other guests. Yeah, it's interesting, just these things that we are all going through in life. And one reason why I love having this podcast is to have these sort of discussions. And it's amazing how many people are actually yearning for it, and why like podcasts are becoming more and more popular, especially the long version conversations, because you can actually go deeper through topics. And it's just one of those things that I love chatting with Chuck, about all these deeper aspects of life. And it's a great circle of friends that I can actually do this with, and that I love like sharing the world with, and sharing them with the world. It's yeah, I'm pretty much at lost for words, man. It's so funny. Yeah, it's wow, hilarious. I just cracking up at my own self, dude. Yeah, hilarious. Welcome back, dude.
Why, thank you.
That was like the most uncomfortable like minute and a half ever.
Glad I could be of service. As I said, lean into the uncomfortable.
What's funny is I really don't care, but I do. So how is relieving yourself, man, physiologically?
Oh, man. I have to say, of all the adult things, I have no idea why I wait to go to the restroom until it's really a pressing issue. This is an argument I have with myself all the time. I'm like, why just go?
Yep.
You go.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, just fantastic.
Yeah, well, I think, well, one is like you're on a podcast, so it's like out of respect, right? And not wanting to like interrupt the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yet this is what I love about like how we do it, is that, like anything goes, right? And that's just like real, like how life is, and
sometimes
I try to have like this podcast be that way, you know, just like raw and real and unscripted, and sometimes it just doesn't make any sense, and other times like we go in like super deep, you know, topics. And
I think we did a little of both of that today.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's I think we ran out of things to say, dude. Do you have anything that comes to mind that you want to leave people with?
Well, a lot of today has been about the narrative and the stories we tell ourselves. And one of the most beautiful things I heard in Poland is you're the director of your own story. You need to stop telling stories where you're not winning and you're undeserving, and for whatever reason, you don't get the treasure at the end of the rainbow. And there may not be treasure at the end of the rainbow, but it never hurts to look. And people need to start telling stories about themselves where they win, and they're deserving, and they're loved. Too many bad storytellers. They really need to change their game and start telling stories where they kick ass. That's what I like to leave with. Tell better stories.
Yeah, I think that's where experience comes in, right? Because I think at a certain point, people are tired of telling their own shitty stories to themselves, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I think that's with anything, you know, this chance to hear sort of goof up and not know what to say, and to
be okay with that.
Be okay with that, right? That's been a huge thing for me to change my own storytelling and become a better like joke teller, because I find that when I am myself, like I'm even just surprised like how this even happens, right? Right, like you even surprise yourself with like hearing people laugh, and you're like, wow, like I didn't even do anything or contrive anything in the moment to like make them laugh. It was so spontaneous, and you know that's like when it's legit. And then you try to reverse engineer or deconstruct that, and I think that's with more experience, with like, let's say like exposure to the ice bath, it just gets like easier and easier. And speaking to Michael Castrogiovanni today about like kettlebell partner passing, is when you realize that what 12 kilogram weight used to feel heavy, and then you move to like a 24 kilo and it's like heavy, but then you go, the 12 feels light, but
Perspective.
It's perspective and relative, like, because your body actually grew and it developed to the point where, like, for me now, like a 24 kilogram weight, what used to be like crazy heavy, feels almost like as light as a 12 kilogram, you know, and now I go to 12 and it's like, that's really light. And so to be able to have these experiences where you're growing and you're telling yourself a better story, you're becoming a better storyteller by telling stories that were shitty.
Yeah,
you know?
See, that's what I love about the ice is never easier. The story I tell myself gets easier every time.
Yeah, that's like profound, mind-blowing mic drop shit right there, bro. Right? It's that kind of thing, to be able to say that in that word order that creates an instant picture in one's head that they like get it, you know. Like for me to be able to hear it said that way, it's not the ice that's getting easier, it's the person, it's the story that the person telling himself in the moment. Being in the ice is being evolved to the point where you go from like telling a story that this is the most horrible, scary thing,
this
and
sucks, this is gonna be awful, to I can't wait. I'm going to take an ice bath. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to feel great. I'm going to get out and, I'm going to feel so good. And then I see that reality. I step into it. I get out and, it's amazing.
And you're telling that story like mentally.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a whole other podcast with like what's possible in terms of, again, back to what Michael Castrogiovanni was saying, and he's like, what was heavy, like in terms of an iron metal weight, now starts to feel like air. It's effortless. Like, what the hell changed? Because the weight is the same.
Yeah, the weight's the
but
same.
with time, physiologically, the body, the nerve, the brain, the muscles, the biochemical, electrical processes adapted. So the perception of that weight is relative. And it's like, if that's possible with like heavy weight,
with the empirical ball of iron.
Yeah,
that ball of iron weighs the exact same no matter what.
Yeah, and then the ice, it's like, what else can I do in my own life, which seems like insurmountable in the moment, can be achieved just through like micro progression,
incremental practice.
Yeah, crazy, man. Boom to that. Duh. Chuck, man, thank you so much for coming on at Hangry and Horny.
My absolute pleasure.
Again, where can people find you? Your website?
My website's icedvikingbreathworks.com. I'm on the Wim Hof Method.com page as well. You can just look me up, Chuck McGee III. Contact me. I like to do workshops all over the place, and I don't have any scheduled upcoming soon, but they're in the works.
Awesome, man. And any parting words before we cut it?
Yeah. Be nice to yourself. Really. Just give yourself a little extra slack. It's not you in particular, but everybody. Just tell yourself a nice story. You deserve to rest. You deserve success. And you deserve to be happy trying to achieve all those things. And go for it.
Chuck, thank you, brother.
My pleasure.
All right. Peace, everybody.